Okay, so this section is going to be about moving averages. Now, as you can see here, I use 5 different moving averages. I use the 9, the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200. Now, why use moving averages? What's so great about them? They just look like a bunch of random lines that are just scribbled around. Now, moving averages are very important for, you know, for just day trading in general. Day trading, swing trading, just the whole stock market. Having these moving averages, like these moving averages act like support and resistances. And you can see like great examples just right here. Now, right now we're on DGAS on a 1 day, 1 minute chart. This was literally yesterday. But as you can see here, this is the 9 day. Usually, whenever the price gets and by usually I mean always, but whenever the price gets far away from the 9 moving average, it usually pulls back and bounces off of the 9 moving average. If it doesn't bounce off exactly, it'll still meet the 9 moving average eventually. You see up here, it goes up even more, then it kind of consolidates a little bit, and then finally, here you go, it reached back to the 9 moving average. Now, because you can see here, it actually broke under the 9 and started breaking under the 20. So here we can see that this action does not care about the 20 moving average. So if the movements don't care about the moving average, then we can ignore the 20 moving average for DGAS for this day. Okay, because obviously it's not really, it's just passing through willy-nilly, it doesn't even care about it. Now, if we can see over here, it did bounce off of the red moving average, which is the 50. So it did bounce off of the 50-day moving average. And then here we can see, okay, now it respects the 20 a little bit more now. You see it's actually bouncing off of it a little bit. But if we can see over here, look at this. Like, it does not go through the 50 moving average. The red moving average, it just bounces off. It bounced off back here. It bounces off a bunch here in the consolidation area. Let's just keep on going here. It bounces off 2 more times. 1, 2. So, if you know that, like, you look in the history of this action, and we can say, okay, so the 50-day moving average is very much respected on this action. So you could be looking for getting into a long position when it's at the moving average. Like a great example, right here, consolidating, it breaks underneath the moving averages, but you're like, okay, well, I know that the 50-day is very respected on this action, so I'm just going to go ahead and buy in right here. I'm going to buy in right here, and if it goes all the way to the green one, I could sell if I want. You got to bring up your own plan. You can have a max percentage loss. You can have if it breaks the pattern of respecting the 50. Like, it's up to you. There's no perfect way of doing it. At the end of the day, you have to develop your own strategy off of all the information that I give you, so you can better understand what your trading strategy is. And don't worry if you don't get it off the bat. For me, it took like a decent 6 months until I found something that was really making me money, and then I was just able to keep on working on it and perfecting it, just through pure experience. But here we can see, okay, well, might as well buy it off of when it bounces off of this 50-day moving average. So you can buy it, it breaks through, you can sell it whenever, once again, according to your plan. But we can see that in this move upwards that DGAS did, that the 50 was very much respected. Now, if we look over here on the downtrend, we can see, just based right off the bat, we can see that the 100 is the most respected for resistance. Okay, so over here, the support, the red line was very strong with support, but over here, the green line, the 100-day moving average, it was really strong with resistance. So we can see here, it hit the green line, went all the way down, then came up again, went around the red line a little bit, went down again, went all the way back up to the 100, went through the 100 a little bit, broke down again, hit up again, went all the way back down, and then it even touched it again over here, and then went all the way down here, and it even on this side over here, it was just trying to break through all the way, but it couldn't until over here, where it broke through and then it bounced off of the green, and then went up flying. So every moving average is a resistance and a support, just to recap. And sometimes certain moving averages, depending on what you're looking at, will not be respected. And moving averages work on every time slot that you put on there. Like it's always a thing. Like it'll always act like a resistance or a support. Like we can see here, recently went down, came back up, hit the green, kind of broke through, tried to go past the 200, just rejected it, the 100 rejected, and went all the way down. And then it came up again, hit the 100-day, struggling a little bit, then came down, bounced off of the 20-day, went shooting up, and then here it broke down. So you want to use these moving averages as good entry and as good sell points. So back here you can say, okay, well, we're kind of far away from the 9, we're out of support, might as well buy in. So you buy in here, for example, you go all the way to the 9. You can sell at the 9 if you want, but because you know that the 9 moving average also works as a resistance. So you could sell here if you wanted. See up here, it did hit the 20-day. You could have sold there. Even up here, it ended up hitting the 50-day moving average. And you could have also sold there, because every single of these moving averages, they're resistances. So if you buy underneath them, you want to sell it when it hits them, because especially if you buy underneath them, that means you're in a downtrend. So like you want to make sure that you sell at least hitting one of these moving averages, because if it's not uptrending, then you're gonna have a problem. You might just be holding it just to lose out, because if you held it even past your one, like, okay, well, yeah, it's you're reversing whatever, and you ignore that it got rejected by the 50-day, and it goes all the way down past your initial entry, then I don't think you would be really that happy. It's better just to get in, you hit resistance, and then just get out. Take your money. That's how you can be more consistent. Don't really be greedy with it, because especially in this, let me put in a scenario where it's involved with money. Okay, so let's say you put in 10 grand. Okay, you put in 10 grand down here at 24.70. You go up here, it hits the 9 moving average. That is $300. Okay, if it's $1,000, then that's $30. Okay, and it comes up here, hits the 20-day moving average. That's 5%, which equals $500 on 10,000 and $50 on $1,000. And then even went all the way to the 50, that's 7. So that's $700 on 10 grand invested. Now, if you waited that entire time and didn't sell at any of these resistances, and it broke all the way down here, then at the lowest point you would have been down almost $300. Now, I'm saying that as in, it's better to just take your profits when you hit resistance than to keep it and be like, oh, I wanna get a big winner. I want it to go up, 20%. I want to buy down here and then sell at the $29 resistance. I want to get a 18% back on my money. Listen, it could happen, but every resistance that is broken, I mean, if you want to take your chance and say, okay, I believe that I'm gonna buy here and it'll 100% break all all of the moving averages and go all the way back up to this level, that's kind of a stretch. The likelihood of that happening is pretty low, for it to be a swing trade that you're not going to be bag holding the whole time, because I mean, if you look at this stock, it could easily just go all the way down to $16 again, and then cool, you're down a sweet, 1/3 on your capital. But there you go. This is basically moving averages, how you want to use them. Combine them with trend lines, supports, everything, and then it just gets a lot easier. Okay, well, I'll see you in the next section.